Tonight we have the Asian Plum by Ariana and Evans. And this guy treated me weird for the last couple days. Great sample that a friend sent to me, and I had it sitting at my desk while I was working, and it kept making me think I had a brownie, a treat, a snack available whenever I wanted one, but I didn't. So it was a little disappointing throughout the day. 198 is this brush from Omega. Long loft here with the boar bristles. It's been soaking for a couple hours. I believe 2 shaves ago with this, it hit a real milestone. Maybe I soaked it for extra long that day, and that really affected the break-in, and it went kind of over a hill, over a hump, if you will. It wasn't as all that comfy before then, but the last couple of shaves, the last 2 shaves, it's been markedly different. So let's see how it ends up today. I have had it soaking for a few hours, and it is in mostly distilled water. Just to save on money, I used partially tap water, but it's so reduced that it should be just fine. And the little gem that I used yesterday and I really enjoyed is this Gibbs razor. And you can look for yesterday's video, and at the end of it I'll give you a little tour where I disassemble it, show you the pieces and all that. But it's an adjustable razor. It doesn't have any supporting pieces through the middle here to keep the blade aligned, except for the center shaft coming down from the top cap. What keeps the Gibbs blades aligned are these posts on either end. Well, modern DE blades don't have those. So I had to snip the blades edges off, the non-blade part of the rectangle, if you will. And it works just fine. It takes a little bit longer to align because you've got to do it with maybe a fingernail or a popsicle stick or something, and but I've got it aligned. I'm good to go. So let's get my you know what I'm going to try today is not getting my face wet before the shave. Let's just see what happens. All right, so I have placed a 1/4 teaspoon, spread it around in my lather bowl, 1/4 teaspoon of the Asian Plum. I like the scent from the bag. Stuck my face in the bag. A little lighter here. Let's just see. I do get the plum. It's almost like a chocolate plum. So I'm going to shake off most of the water, and then we'll just start mixing. So Ariana and Evans, I haven't had a lot of experience with their soap. I tried their Monte Carlo recently. Should be a video up there if you're interested. I really like the performance, but the scent was so light that I just kind of passed it on. I sold it. Let's see. We'll see if this one's any different. So immediately we have kind of a lather forming. It's kind of staying low. It's not getting airy and bubbly very much. Staying kind of pasty. It is getting a little structure though. All right. It's not completely picked up from the bottom of the bowl, but that's all right. We've got more mixing time to take care of that. So I'm going to go ahead and put a teaspoon of water in. This brush does have some rubber O-rings on it to at the base of the knot. Otherwise it would splay out really kind of more than I needed to. by putting those O-rings in, I focus in the bristles, and so more of them touch my face, and that results in a more comfortable shave. Got a nice kind of dry cream going here. I mean, some people would think this is ready to be shaved with, and if that's your preference, then do it. But I think it's probably a little too dry to really bond with the skin, protect it well. Should have looked at my Monte Carlo notes to see how much water I had to put with it. It's a beautiful looking lather, very creamy looking. So that's 2 teaspoons in. After I kind of integrate this, maybe I'll kind of feel it with my fingers and see the viscosity. I believe I've probably picked up most of the soap off the bottom of the lather bowl here. I'm not getting a whole lot of scent. I'm getting just a tiny bit of scent coming up to my nose from the bowl here. Now there's a little floral that jumps in now that it's in lather form. Previously it was just kind of the plum. Looking forward to trying this guy out. Doesn't seem like he's going to be very strong though. I wonder if this is a pattern with Ariana and Evans, just kind of weak scents. Alright, let's just feel of it. Yeah, I think I better shave with that. It's a little bit of cushion. The slickness kind of goes away as I move my thumb across my fingers. The slickness is kind of a watery type. Sometimes that means that you better stop adding water. Sometimes it means you need to keep adding water so that you activate things. Sometimes it's hard to tell until you've kind of played around and done some trial and error. So what I'm going to do is assume that this is enough, because I can always add water later to the bowl and my face and the brush. So that's what we're going to try today. Now a little splash of water. So the Gibbs razor did a really good job yesterday on almost 3 days of growth. 30 hours, I think. And so today it's more of a normal test. It did really well yesterday. I started with a setting of 3 on it, and then I backed off to 2 after the first pass. It did so well, I only needed 2 passes. I didn't change anything about my technique. The razor was just great. I normally have to do 3. Yesterday, just 2. So let's see what happens today. Comfortable brush. Man, this is one that really started out pokey, uncomfortable. Yeah, see, look, the way it kind of looks, I think I am going to add just a little bit of water to the brush. See what happens. Nope, I don't think it needs water. So I'm going to just go back into the bowl here and get a little bit more. One nice thing about bowl lathering, you can just do that. This is interesting. It's kind of exhibiting some signs of being a little too dry and a little too wet at the same time. I may have put a little too much water in it. We'll just go with that. Actually, you know what? You know what I want to do? Just want to work it just a little bit more. Sometimes that can change the texture. Come on now, I don't have... It doesn't look like I have tons of extra soap. Plus, if you believe that this kind of softens your hairs and that helps you get a better cut, then leaving the lather on your face on that first pass is probably a good idea. So now let's just lay down a layer here. Scent strength right now is pretty minimal. Really hard to smell it without maybe stirring up the air around it. All right. So this is a razor that's very head heavy. The handle here, and it's got a blade in it, so that's why I'm being careful. The plastic, this black part is plastic. This is metal, and so it's got a lot of weight up toward this side. And that often bothers me. But when I'm using it, it almost all disappears. Maybe because of the drag, that the little bit of slowdown, you know, as you move it across your skin, and so that weight then is less of an issue. Man, this 2 setting is really smooth, very comfortable. Man. Mainly going with a lot of with the grain type strokes in this first pass. My neck gets a little weird, so it's hard to do that specifically. All right, let's rinse. So let's say you're in the same boat that I'm in. You wonder about the condition of your lather. Is it too wet? Is it too dry? Thought maybe it was a little too wet on that pass. It did give me a nice slick rinse that felt really good. But what I want to do is maybe tweak it a little bit more dry. How can you do that? I dabbed my face with a towel, removed the water that would have been added to everything from my face after each rinse. And so that will thicken up the lather just a hair. And sometimes that is all the fine tuning that you need. So let's see how this lather reacts to that. Does it get kind of creamy? Does it get exactly where you want it? Or does it get dry? So we'll see what happens. This kind of lather, it's I think this brush in its current state, being so young, I think this is maybe its 14th use. It likes the buttery type lathers. Yeah, see, this is definitely a thicker looking lather than I had the first pass. A little higher in viscosity. So let's see now if it still bonds to the skin. Still barely noticeable scent. I'm talking 3 out of 10. You know, maybe even 2 out of 10. What do I get now when I stick my nose in the bowl? I like the scent, but I just can't really smell it. It's too weak. Oh well. Keep it on the setting of 2. Looks like if I want a comfy shave from this razor, if I want it to be smooth, then the 2 is the way to go. And I learned yesterday that the 2 is a nice, efficient setting for me. And this Gillette silver blue blade, that's what I've got in here. And we're just doing cross grain on the cheeks here. Very nice. Let me rinse. My cheeks look and feel great. I'm going to go ahead and do kind of a touch-up pass on my neck here. Looks like I do have enough lather for another full pass if I want. Maybe even then enough for a touch-up after that. And this lather bowl, as usual, is my one from Roger Quintero design, and it's got the it's a 3D printable bowl. Files are online, and you can get to the link in the description of my video if you have a 3D printer or access to one. I sometimes get irritation right here, and I think I just learned why. Often I will start, because my under the chin hair grows to the sideways, and then when it gets to this side, it kind of makes some swirls and some weird motions. But over here, it's pretty straightforward, so this side usually gets shaped really nicely. And so I start from this side. When I do this bottom edge, I've discovered this bottom part works a lot better if I come from the bottom, maybe making kind of diagonal cuts, shavings like that, because going this way diagonally would be against the grain slightly. And so I've learned to do that, and that works really well until I get to over about right here, and I consistently get a little bit of irritation. I think what I need to do right there is switch directions. I think that starts to be maybe against the grain when I'm doing that. So maybe when I get right around here, maybe switch and come from the other side and come that way. And that might be more comfortable for me. When you hit those little irritating spots like that happen every once in a while, just keep thinking of different ways to try to come at them. Try different angles, see if you can get lucky. And let me rinse this off. So this number 2 setting is nice. I got an excellent close cut. It's also pretty smooth. However, it's a little deceptive. It's, I don't know if I was a little lax in my technique. Maybe I should have done a little bit more stretching, but there's one little spot I have that's got a little bit of irritation to it, which is remarkable considering how comfortable the shave was in general. So I guess this little razor, I guess that's part of the secret of being efficient, is sometimes you're right on the line in this wonderful balance, and then where you're comfortable, but then a little mistake here or there, and maybe it'll cost you. If it was more safe, then it wouldn't be as close of a cut. It's probably the general rule. All right, I'm really happy with the cut. I don't see any tips that have any length to them at all, and that's above average for me. So this little guy does well. Again, I wanted to see how he did in kind of a normal growth shave, because yesterday was kind of 2 days, and today was 1 day. Maybe I will snip off the edges of another blade and put it in this little guy. See, because I know the Gillette Silver Blue works really well. We'll try maybe another popular blade and see what happens. I might do that while I've got this razor on loan. I want to try to run it through and enjoy it in as many ways as I can. Get some good videos to you guys out, because I bet there's not too many Gibbs videos out there. So the more I can put out, maybe the more I can help people. All right, so how much lather do we have left? So that was 2.5 passes I just did. And so like I said, I probably ended up making about 3.5 passes of lather total. And it's a nice looking lather. And you know, I wouldn't have a problem shaving with this lather, shaving with this soap base for a long time. But I just would want to hopefully find a scent that would be a little bit stronger and enjoyable while I'm shaving, where I don't have to stick my nose into the bowl to get a good whiff of it. I'm very grateful for the sample. I've heard mention of the Asian Plum all around the internet, forums and all that. And so I'm really glad to have been able to try it. And also another chance to try the base. Very nice. I believe this brush, it behaved okay during this shave. But I believe, and there are some of the tips that have split, but it's being slow to do that. I believe that this brush, while it's at this stage, while it's this youth type of a brush, it's a teenager maybe, I'm going to say that I think it does better with those soaps that have more of a fatty slickness to them, where you can rub it in your fingers, and the slickness, the fattiness, it just stays on your fingers. Whereas if you remember, I noted that when I pushed the lather away, it was kind of wet, kind of a watery slickness, and then it kind of left my fingertips. And while it was very serviceable, I don't think it protects quite as well as that fatty slickness. Sometimes it's a little irritating because it takes a while to wash off, like sterling or something like that. And some of the other, you know, better ones like the Barrister and Man Glissant, the Declaration, their Bison base instead of the newest Icarus base. So those are kind of some of my favorites. So I think this brush, being just not quite super soft yet, likes those kind of buttery, fatty bases. I might enjoy this brush with those instead. It was okay today, but looking forward to watching this guy grow. All right. So yeah, in this base, and that was pretty much 1/4 teaspoon of soap, and I used 2 teaspoons of water in addition to the small amount that was in the brush. So starting out, maybe next time back it off to 1.5, you know, when I do this base again. This is for post shave. I noticed this guy in the back of my drawer, Sapone de Paulo and Pulito, is the scent, and it's olive, musk, and citrus. A little bit weird, but you know what, let's give it a try. I probably got it on a crazy, you know, Thanksgiving Day sale or something like that. Let's just see if I like the scent. I think it works okay. But if I don't like the scent, I've managed to snatch up enough post-shave products. Usually when I buy, somebody comes out with a few soaps that I really like, then I'll buy the lot and it'll come with an aftershave, and that's how I've gathered up most of my aftershaves. So I think I've used up too much product here, because I've got plenty right here, and you can see the whiteness on my face, but I tell you what, it's going to absorb. Olive, I get that. Citrus, maybe not so much. To tell you the truth, it almost smells just like a product base. instead of like an unscented base, and then you would add, the maker would add scent to that. It's kind of more what it smells like. So it's a pretty weak scent. We'll see how my face feels after this, because it's even if it was, I can pretend it's unscented, and then if it makes my face feel real nice, then maybe keep it around for times when I want an unscented product, because it is fairly thin, so it spreads easy. Like if I've forgotten to leave a little bit of water on my face, then this will be just fine, you know. All right, almost done cleaning up. So to sum up, I'm happy with the way this brush is moving along, heading in the right direction, getting softer, getting more comfortable. It's doing it slowly, but that's fine. I mean, we're only 14 uses into its life, so no big deal. I did soak it for maybe 3 hours before this shave to give it the best chance possible. The razor continues to be an enjoyment. I think maybe this lather just wasn't as nice as the one I used yesterday. Yesterday was Holy Cow, and it was their Buffalo base, and it was Pasha's Pride. Really enjoyed that scent. And I think I like that base better. I think it protected me a little better. And so today, this Ariana and Evans didn't quite give me what I wanted, and so I ended up with a little bit of irritation. I bet it's going to go away soon though, so it's not a big deal really. Soap, I've already voiced that a little bit, how I wish that it was a little bit stronger so that I could enjoy it during the shave. Otherwise, I think we're good. Everything worked great. I believe that maybe I'd reduce the water just a hair on this one next time, on this base. So I'll try to make a note of that. And we're good. So I hope this has been helpful to you in some way. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Take care and good night.